Hey, it's Thursday, time for their Action Figure Adventures video here on SEO Toy Review. Today, Baby Skeletor and I are taking a look at some of my finds from NJCC. The New Jersey Collectors Convention is held in Cherry Hill a couple times a year. I always go to this con with my buddy Nick, meet up with my friends Rose and Tony. They were there this year promoting RetroCon, and I picked up some stuff. I wouldn't say this is my biggest haul ever, but I did find a few cool items, and I also had the opportunity to interview Ninja Turtles superfan George. If you haven't seen my video about rare Ninja Turtle toys that I posted last week, make sure you check that out. I got to talk to George and get to take a close look at some of his really amazing rare Ninja Turtle toys. On to the haul. Everybody's got their own mission when they're at a toy show. Some people are looking for parts to complete figures they need. Some people are looking for complete figures to a line they collect. Some people are looking for weird stuff. And I kind of do a little bit of everything. I love to buy a new complete figure to add to a collection from a line that I don't have all of them. I love to find parts and pieces to complete old vehicles or figures that are missing a weapon. I especially love finding weird stuff like branded products that have, licensed characters on them. That's the one area that I really missed out on this time. I didn't find any of that stuff. I'm sure it was there. I don't know if I was just in a funk, but we're going to start by taking a look at some parts and pieces I picked up here. And the ones that I have up front. I got a new crossbow from Antenna from Masters of the Universe. I actually broke this. There's a little action feature with these crossbows where you push this button down to make the catapult or the crossbows launch a little bit. Well, I actually pushed on this in a video to demonstrate it and broke mine. So this one I'm not launching, but I'm happy to have that. I got an ammo belt to version 2 Rock and Roll from G.I. Joe. I needed this to complete that figure, so I'm very excited about that. I got a Ram motorcycle. Some of you may know that the Ram is one of my favorite G.I. Joe vehicles. It's my favorite land vehicle. I do have a piece of aircraft that I also love. This was actually in a $2 parts bin along with the Mantenna crossbow. So I paid $2 for the sidecar gun and $2 for the motorcycle. The motorcycle does have a saddlebag. So it's missing one saddlebag. It's missing the kickstand. It has no stickers on it, so it's very clean. And my rule is I buy any Ram that costs less than $5. So for $4, I got a very clean Ram. I got the roof section to the Crusader spaceship from G.I. Joe. I own the Defiant. I do not have the Crusader, but I now have the windshield, the drone, and the main center fin. So I'm slowly building one from parts. Basically, when I see Crusader pieces in good shape, I pick them up because that way if I stumble upon a Crusader someday that's not perfect, I can upgrade it, and if I find one that's complete and buy it that way, I'll pass the parts on to somebody else. Next thing I have here is a gun for the Party Wagon. It's a little bit dirty. I'm going to try and clean that up. I'm hoping that this fits on my Party Wagon. As I feared, I bought the one I already had. Well, this one's going on backwards just because it's going to help this whole thing for display purposes. But I will keep my eyes peeled for the correct one. I picked up some inexpensive Kenner Star Wars figures. I got 2 army builders with the TIE Fighter, Pilot, and the Stormtrooper, and I picked up 3 red Snaggletooths. Some of you may know that Max Rebo is my favorite Kenner Star Wars figure, but my second favorite is Snaggletooth. So when I find inexpensive Max Rebos or Snaggletooths, I pick them up. I bought a Star Brigade Rock and Roll. I already have this figure, but I really like this figure. It's probably one of the best Star Brigade characters, and I kind of think this is like the perfect astronaut suit for G.I. Joe, since nobody can afford to collect a whole bunch of payloads. So this figure I think is great for customizing and swapping the heads out to get other G.I. Joes, other core characters into Star Brigade. So, you know, this is perfect for doing that kind of stuff. And that's why I grabbed him. The guy actually had multiple versions, multiple copies of this figure, but the other ones were really yellowed, so I passed them up, even though I kind of was tempted to get them, at least to have the helmets. But anyway, it's my one Joe figure purchase. Does anybody remember Marvel's Secret Wars? Well, I happened to pick up 3 shield accessories for these guys. They came with lenticular shields. The silver ones are bad guys, the red ones are good guys, or orange. And each one has multiple cardboard inserts originally. And if you can find them with at least one insert, that's pretty exciting. This one happens to be Doc Ock. Oh, there we go. So you can see he's like raising himself up using the tentacles. Just flip it around to the first side. This one doesn't seem to work very well. Maybe I don't have it in there right. It's basically 2 images on the same... Yeah, I can't get this one to work. 2 images on the same piece of cardboard, and the sort of the lines of the plastic. Ugh. Try it one more time. Oh, there he goes. He punches. Is Wolverine like kicking Spider-Man? Oh, Wolverine's falling and Spider-Man webs him. There we go. Now it makes sense. They're helping each other. Let's flip this one around. What? What is he doing? I'm a little confused about this one. The last shield I got is Kang's. Doesn't seem to be doing anything. Oh, ooh, treasure trove here. Kang's has a whole bunch of cardboards, maybe possibly all 3 of his, which is exciting. Just because, for more completeness. I don't know, this one doesn't seem to do anything for me. He's like running from the bank vault. Ooh, he's like charging up or something? I don't know. It's hard to tell what's going on some of that. He's blowing up a train or something. Some of them are like animated, and some of them are just sort of like 2 different pictures. It's weird. It's weird. As a kid, I remember... Is he fighting a knight? He's fighting a knight. As a kid, I had Captain America, and I remember keeping one in his shield that showed Steve Rogers' face transforming into the Captain America mask. And I had Dr. Dooms, and I think I had a picture of him like shooting a laser or something like that. There's a dinosaur. Getting hit by a car? Or shot by a space vehicle? I don't know. They're a little weird. As always, I saved my best purchase for last, and I think the best thing I picked up at the show was Blade from Masters of the Universe. The number of figures I need for Masters of the Universe is getting kind of small, but now at this point I'm also being picky where I'm not buying them unless they're complete, which does make them more pricey, but I'm going to get all the figures and then be annoyed that I have to go back and try and find accessories. So I happen to find Blade. He's got his loincloth belt piece. He's got both of his swords. He's in pretty good shape. He's a little dirty. I'm going to try and clean him up a little bit. He does have the power punch action. Both of his arms are spring-loaded. So he's a pretty nice figure based on that Masters of the Universe movie, and very excited to have him in my collection. Thanks for watching this Action Figure Adventures video. Do Baby Skeletor a favor, hit that like and subscribe button.